All right, we are live, episode 60 of Barstool Units. I'm Coach Doug's with me as always, Frank the Tank Fleming. Frank, you're in the green room today. How are you?
It's pretty good. I don't know why they call it a green room. The walls look kind of white to me.
Yeah, now Frank, is the Wi-Fi good in there? You and me okay?
Let's hope so. We got our fingers crossed.
Yeah, are you clear on your side? Does it look like you're clear?
It looks like I'm clear.
Okay, if it looks like you're clear, then we're good to go. Busy week in the Barstool office. Well, I don't know if it's busy. It's a lot of busy bodies, I guess. Um, I was really excited to come in the office on Sunday night. Some news dropped, and it just seemed like Monday was going to be a heck of a day to be in the office. It ended up kind of just being a little more depressing than anything, I guess. But are you familiar? Have you been keeping up, Frank?
You know, I know something's going on, but I try to stay clear of shit like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're not into the drama, Frank.
I'm not into the drama. I know what's going on. I know the history between Hank and Rhea. I know Marty apparently just kind of clueless.
Love is love, Frank. So I mean, I think probably everybody knows, but just in case, Hank, producer, been with started PMT with Big Cat and PFT.
Yep.
And now I guess he's kind of like the, I don't know, president, vice president of content. I don't know what his official
Yeah,
title is.
he's got something like that. He's the former Jen Simons job. He's like oversees everything.
Yeah. So him and Rhea broke up about a year ago, and Marty, who works in the office, some would use the term clueless. I don't know if I would say that about him. It seems kind of mean, although possibly accurate. Him and Rhea have been dating for a while, and it popped off that possibly they've been dating for months and months, and they kept it to themselves, which is it's fine. Hey, listen, live your life. But you know, Frank,
Uh,
what are your
I
thoughts, Frank? Do you
I don't see any problem with Marty dating Rhea if Marty is able goes to Hank and says, "Look," and goes it. But trying to hide it from Hank and sneaking around Hank is not a good move. I
you
mean,
think he had an obligation to go to Hank?
if he's a friend of Hank, yes.
What if he's not a friend of Hank's? What if they're just
Well,
coworkers? Now, I don't
but if
know.
they
I don't know.
but they've
Seems
worked
like
together so long. It's probably it's something that should definitely have been tread lightly on. And the way it was found out that it was basically like that like Reddit basically is the one that basically like
yeah.
spilled the beans, and that's not the way it should come out.
That's fair. You, you should not find out that way if you were an ex-boyfriend who, and apparently they had somewhat of an agreement when they did split up that they would not date anyone. Neither of them would date someone in the office. So, you know,
Yeah,
with that understanding, that kind of throws another wrench in there. Um,
and that to me tells me that Rhea is at least partially to blame too. I mean, she had that the breakup agreement with Hank, and I don't know if she told that to Marty. I mean, if she told that to Marty and Marty just went, "Oh, okay, da, 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 da," that makes Marty look even worse.
yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. Like I said, I was excited to come in, not for that drama necessarily, because that's whatever. The heart wants what the heart wants, and who am I to step in or say anything against it? However, what I was really excited about was that through all of this, with all this coming out, Deke Zucker, the Barstool Quotes fan Twitter account, basically announced he's Team Hank. and that if Team Hank got trending, he was going to release a list of burner accounts he had for Barstool employees. That's what I was excited about. The whole
Release
relationship,
the Kraken.
bless him. I was excited for some burner drama. Frank, do you have a burner?
No, I don't have any burner. I
No?
might have a Reddit account. I don't know if I I never really post on it. I rarely pay attention to Reddit.
Yeah. Well, that's
I
one
mean,
thing. Yeah, I'm not even on. If I Google something and a Reddit page is like one of the search, results, I'll check it out that way.
yeah, I don't actively go to Reddit, and I don't actively read at Reddit. The
Yeah,
only way I get anything on Reddit, is if anything pops up on Twitter that links to Reddit, or anything in my search goes to Reddit.
yeah. So I don't even know who's on Reddit, much less who has a burn on Reddit. But um, the implication is he's Team Hank, and if Team Hank got trending, he would release the list of burners, which I believe the implication is that either Marty has burners or other people have burners that would be not necessarily beneficial to Team Hank, but would just maybe possibly shed some light on some people that might not be Team Hank.
Well, Team Hank actually was trending, so let's see if it happens.
Release the list. Release the list. I'm still excited to see it. I was told that I might need to bring a baseball bat with me into the office once the list is released. Um, I've been contemplating a heel turn. I just I've been contemplating. Could I be I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could be the bad boy. But I think if I had some ammo, maybe I could work myself up to try and be mean to somebody. It probably won't happen. I'm probably not capable of it, but I can try. You know. Now,
I
if you if
mean,
you, if you could guess, Frank, who has a burner and is just like talking mad smack about other people, who in the office would it be?
I wouldn't be surprised if KFC has a couple burners.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Well, that completely goes against. That's the opposite of it. Deke Zucker said that KFC was going to be mad about all the other burners. He pretty much said KFC. So you think KFC has some burners, huh?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Wow. Well, clip that
Uh,
KFC. He's going to be upset about this.
I'm pretty sure Vibs has a burner.
Now, and when we say burner, we're not talking about burners to get around technical things. We're talking about burners to tweet out or say mean things.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Well, you
So even
asked.
no, I
I'm just
just
guessing.
and now I have to ask. You mentioned KFC. That is not. That's not you. That's not you just saying that because he's KFC, and you and him have disagreements on the Mets.
Maybe.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. So we'll push that off to the side, and that's a disagreement with from a Mets fan base. Speaking of the Mets, they're doing pretty well, Frank.
20-10, and they really haven't hit a stride yet.
No,
They
but they
they
haven't lost consecutive games, right?
they've lost consecutive games once.
But not to the same team.
No, they've won or tied every series, but they haven't swept any series. They haven't had a winning streak longer than three, I believe, and so basically they win two, lose one, which is a good, consistent way to play. They haven't really like hit the afterburners. They're just winning consistently, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And which tells me they could be even better than they've been.
Yeah, that sounds if you told me, hey, you're going to win 2 out of every 3 games, that sounds pretty good. But I guess at the end of the season, that would be what, 80 and 40?
No, that would be 108 and 54.
Is a third of 160 40? Never mind. You're right. Okay. I'm not good with the numbers, Frank.
The what
That
the reason
it would be a pretty good year, is what I'm saying.
the reason I know that is because the Mets record in 1986 was 108 and 54,
Hmm.
66% winning percentage.
66. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. So they're playing. They're playing. The word I want to use is consistent. They've been consistent.
And that's a good thing, right?
That is a very good thing.
Because that what the issues you've had in the past, at least from what I've seen, are they're good, they're good, and then they don't win a game in July or June.
Yep. Yep. Uh, One thing I've seen is that they've had some better timely hitting. They've scored more runs with 2 outs this year than they scored all of last year.
Yeah. Now,
I mean, last year it was 2 outs, it was lights out.
yeah.
This year 2 outs
However,
and 2 outs are getting hits with 2 outs. They're getting runs with 2 outs. They're rallying from down 7-1.
yeah.
I
We
mean,
they're not leaving a lot of runners on base like they did last year.
no, it's
Runners in
been
scoring.
much better than they did.
Yeah.
It's been much better this year. They're hitting with runners in scoring position,
Now
and that
you
was
did
the thing that
mention,
drove me nuts last year.
yeah. And you did mention this though. You didn't like how Pete Alonso was swinging the bat the other day.
Yeah, well, he he caught two after I said that.
Yeah. So what he had like what do you have? 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 3 runs
Yep,
total.
yep.
Yeah. So
Well,
I
I'm basing it basically on the first game. The first game, which the Mets lost 3-2 in a doubleheader. Pete Alonso had a at bat in like the later innings, and he literally almost fell down swinging.
yeah,
Almost fell on his ass swinging. And then the second game, he took another wild hack, and he missed. And then one pitch later, he launched it into orbit. But those swings I didn't like.
yeah. So
When you're watching a game and reacting instantly, sometimes you can say things like that.
but well, here's the thing, Frank. So you mentioned when you're watching a game, you've watched quite a few Mets games, right? You've seen
Yep.
quite a few Mets games, so you know that things. You know that there's going to be another inning. You know that the batter's going to get another at bat. You know that.
But I react timed.
You know,
I react moment to moment. So
and so I'm going to play. I'm going to play
yeah.
KFC's. I'm going to.
Hi, Frank. Can we
Hey.
use this room? We have to use this room for.
I'm
Well, Frank,
trying
walk
to
with
find
me,
a place to record a podcast.
How long
Frank.
will you be? Kelty reserved it.
Oh, I didn't realize there was no sign. Is there another room I could
Get,
go
get,
to?
I can
just
help
get up
find
and
one.
walk around, Frank.
All
We'll,
right.
we'll, we'll keep going. We'll keep it live.
I
Take a little tour.
mean,
Take a tour around the
yeah.
office.
All the other rooms were all taken.
Take a little tour around the office, Frank.
Uh, well, I got kicked out of the green room.
Yeah.
Hey.
So
Hey.
what we were talking about, Frank, you mentioned that in the moment
In the
you
moment, yeah.
in the moment, and I'm just going to play KFC's advocate here. Uh, you seem to only tweet the negative moments.
Well, that's because I'm too happy to tweet when they're doing something good.
So okay, so that's why you don't tweet the positive things. You're too happy.
Yes.
You were
Oh,
overcome with
okay.
joy.
This room opened up. Yeah, I'm too happy. So I'm happy. I I mainly use Twitter and my tweets to get out my frustration.
Hmm. Now, I have noticed that, and this might just be this season, but when you tweet negative things in the moment, there has been some kind of like reverse jinx situation going on where basically hashtag Frank was wrong might as well be trending because you tweet something negative and then all of a sudden the Mets come back and hit 7 runs in the 9th inning.
Well, nobody could have thought the Mets were going to win Thursday. Nobody.
I
Their
mean, some
chance of
people
winning
thought
that
it.
game.
Maybe a very hopeful Met fan might have thought it.
No,
No Met
no.
fan, no matter how hopeful, thought the Mets had a chance to hit 7 runs in 1 inning.
The
Not
odds
even
of
a
winning the
child.
Mets.
Not even a small child, Frank. Not even a small
A
child.
small child might be the only one to think of that. They literally, it's like that scene from Dumb and Dumber.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying there's a chance?
Yeah. Yeah, Frank, that brings
That
hope.
had a better chance than the Mets winning. The Mets, the baseball metric winning odds was 0.1%.
So you're
in the ninth
telling me
inning.
there's a chance. So you're telling me, Frank, that's why we live. That's why we live, because there's a chance anything could happen. That's why you watch that. That's why there's people in the stands in the 9th inning with 2 outs and 2 strikes when you're down 7 runs, because there's a chance anything could happen. That's why people stay. Frank, have you ever left a baseball game early?
Yes.
Okay, that's not a good answer, or that's not a good question for you. Maybe I've never left it. I've never left a Jaguars game early. Well, maybe until like maybe a couple of years ago when I had to do other things. But growing up, we stayed at Alltel Stadium, whatever stadium name is now.
I mean,
Stayed there until it hit 0, even if we were down 24, 30 points.
I remember the Mets had a Mike Piazza weekend when they retired his number one night, and they were going to give out a bobblehead the next day. There was rain delay. There was the Mets were not playing well. They were injured, so it's the 6th inning and 11 o'clock, and I'm not staying, especially when I have to come back to the stadium in another 12 hours.
That's fair. That's fair. How did that game end?
Mets lost.
I was hoping for a come around. I was hoping for I missed a great comeback. But that's why you see people in the stands in the 9th inning when your team's getting destroyed, because it's those little moments right there. It's that one game in 1,000 where you can say, I was there. I stayed. I was a good fan. I stayed to watch the whole game, and I watched my team come back 7 runs down in the 9th inning.
When you leave early a baseball game, I remember I left the opening day 2003 early. Mets were down. The lost that one like 15-1, and I was sitting in the worst seats in Shea Stadium, up by the foul pole, where the seats were steep, and I was near the railing of a drop straight down into the Met bullpen.
Oh, okay.
So it was like it was not a fun place to sit.
Yeah.
I've left blowouts early where the Mets were down 10 runs.
What I'm saying is there's a reason people stay. It's for those 1 in a million games. And sometimes being positive works out. However, you have noticed that your this season specifically, your negative tweets seem to have a reverse effect. It seems like they may be showing your tweets in the Mets bullpen or in the Mets dugout, because when you tweet negative things, the Mets come alive. So the question is,
I'm still negative, but I'm not as negative as I've been.
Well, no,
I'm afraid
you can't be, because the Mets are winning.
I'm afraid that if I get too positive, it will unravel.
Mm-hmm. And so
it'll be bad luck.
And so we're going to settle it right here. you're doing this as a real Mets fan. You feel obligated, and just let me know if I'm getting this right. You feel obligated as a real Mets fan. You see a pattern here where your negative tweets are helping the Mets play well. And so, as a good Mets fan, you're going to continue the negative tweets in order to help the Mets.
I feel that if that I can't change, and that the negative tweets sometimes bring good luck. I got to continue it.
You have to continue it.
I
Once,
I
once
I look at a game. The Mets win. I'm happy, but I know that there's room for improvement. I'm like that football coach. That at the end of the game, yeah, we won 30 to 16, but there was a play here or there that we still fucked up. We need to improve on that. That's kind of how I view this.
what's the quote from Bull Durham about when a guy's on a heater, when a guy's doing well.
Yeah, he's one pitch away from it going the other way.
No. I mean, like as far as superstition, like you don't do that. You don't change things when when a
Yeah,
guy's doing well.
you
You
don't
don't
change
change.
things, and I
So
can't change.
I truly believe that. I truly believe that.
I
So
literally feel
the negative
I
comments.
literally feel if I get too positive, and I mean the Mets are 20-10. They have like a 5.5 game lead, so it's positive. But 2007 haunts me,
Mhm.
and I know that the Dodgers have a better record than the Mets, and the Mets there is room for improvement, but the start's good, and I think that instead of feeling that every day that something bad's going to happen, I feel that the Mets have a chance to win every night. So that's mainly the big thing that's changed.
Okay, so hold on. Now you have a sort of positive outlook on the Mets.
I get kind of.
Do you feel like that might be detrimental to the Mets if you have a positive outlook?
That's my fear.
So how
So
how
I
are you going to
gotta so I gotta continue to at least be negative in some way.
you have to somehow you have to control your emotions and make sure more of the dark side comes out.
Yes, yes. You see,
It's a tough
you
burden.
see. Let's look at the Star Wars universe. The Jedi were hypocrites.
Mhm.
They were dogmatic. They thought that their shit didn't stink. What's this? You can't have relationships with anybody. You can't have any possessions or anybody. You can't use any passion. You can't care about anyone. You have to be indifferent, and because that's the path to the dark side. Yet the dark side, you can have your passions. You can have anything you want. You can love. You can be passionate. You can be compassionate, and you can use your force abilities to your highest potential. While the Jedi who just look down their noses upon everybody, no wonder the Sith won. No wonder the path to the dark side. Fuck. I mean, the dark side is freedom. The Jedi is dogmatic. It's.
I I can't agree with anything you're saying, Frank. I can't agree with any of this. It sounds like you're anti Jedi,
The
Frank.
Sith. The Sith is a pathway to things that some might call unnatural. I
All right.
mean,
Well,
if you had a, if you
that
gave me the
checks out.
choice,
Actually, this
if you
checks
gave me
out.
the choice, you give me the choice, Jedi or Sith,
Mm-hmm.
I might have to choose the Sith.
Frank. Yeah, you might have to. Frank, you are the Sith. You are an evil person.
Good, good.
Frank. That This all checks out. I can't nothing is surprising about this. You know, if you're a Mets fan, I don't know. You tell me. Do you deserve Frank as a hero, or do you deserve Frank because the Mets have destroyed his life and he's going to make sure they destroy yours too?
I mean, I was 9 when I really, really, really got into baseball. That's the age that you really start to
Mhm.
really
Yeah,
you go from just being the young kid that
you
watches
fall in love
sports.
with
And that year, the Mets won 98 games and finished 3 games short of going to the playoffs.
the game. Yeah.
And then the next year, they win the World Series. And since then, it's just been disappointment and heartbreak after disappointment and heartbreak. They should have won the World Series again in '88. The manager was an idiot.
I mean, the manager got them to the World Series, didn't he?
He got them to the NLCS. They had a 2-1 series lead against the Dodgers,
Mm-hmm.
and he left Dwight Good in the ninth inning instead of bringing in the reliever, the closer.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have brought in Randy Myers in the ninth inning of Game 4, the Mets win that game, go up 3-1, and the Dodgers do not even. The Dodgers go out. It's over. Mets go to the World Series, and they win again.
Hmm.
Between '84 and '90, the Mets were the best team in baseball almost every year. They only made the playoffs twice. Different format back then. Only went to the World Series once, and they won it. If they had the wild card back then, the Mets would have been in the playoffs every year, '84
Yeah.
to '90. And I think the Mets would have probably won 2 or 3 World Series. They just had a team, and then it broke apart because of some upper management meddling, a rookie who thought his shit didn't stink, and it just fractured because basically the Mets were burning the candles at both ends. They were partying up. They were just they were too crazy to win 2 championships. There was a book, a great book called "The Bad Guys Won." It's about the '86 Mets. Coincidentally, the guy who wrote that book wrote the book about the Lakers that the show Winning Time is based on.
Okay.
And
Now,
I would
winning time.
love
I,
to
I,
see the Mets get a. What was that?
no, no, go ahead. You'd love to see the Mets get like a winning time show.
Yeah,
I
they've
haven't
already
seen
did
winning
the.
time.
They've already did the terrific 30 for 30 with the Once Upon a Time in Queens, but
Mm-hmm.
this I want to see what they would do with a 30 for 30 about the winning time style TV show about the '86 Mets, where you have Dwight Gooden, a 19-year-old phenom, comes up in '84, wins Rookie of the Year, has a one of the great seasons in baseball history: 24-4, 156 ERA, 270 something strikeouts, led the league in all 3 categories. Had
He was only 19.
a what?
He was only 19 years old.
He is 19 in 1984, pitched in the All Star game, Rookie of the Year, and then at the age of 20, went 24-4, ERA 156, led the league in strikeouts, and won the Cy Young.
Wow.
And then he started dabbling in cocaine, and
Remember,
in 1989, Dwight Gooden was the youngest pitcher to win 100 games. He won 100 games before turning 25, and he
wow.
never reached 200. That first 5 years of Dwight Gooden, if he would have kept that trajectory, he would have been one of the greatest pitchers of all time. There used to be a building near the Port Authority that had a giant like mural of Dwight Gooden. And as soon as you came through Lincoln Tunnel, you saw that mural of Dwight Gooden. And Dwight Gooden might be the person most largely responsible for me being a Mets fan. Because
Oh,
that way
really?
he came up in '84. He came up in '84. He was just so great in '85, and he was the man, and he just, I mean, and then you have Dow Strawberry on the same pathway. I mean, he should have been the MVP in '88. Kevin McReynolds stole votes from him, and basically two Mets finished second and third in the MVP voting in '88. They took votes from each other.
Yeah.
Kevin McReynolds was a good player. He should never have even been considered for MVP. I
Yeah.
mean, that should have been Darryl Strawberry's all the way. I mean, Darryl Strawberry had the sweetest swing. He hit a ball off the ring of Olympic Stadium over the foul pole, hit it off the ring. At the time, they had a roof. I mean, he came about 5 feet from hitting the roof.
This is in Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he literally hit the ring of the stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, he was good, Frank. Speaking of good teams, the Yankees are doing pretty good.
No, the Yankees are frauds.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why
I'm not
are the
convinced of the
Yankees
Yankees.
frauds?
Well,
I mean,
they're gonna finish above 500 again. It just never ends. I really thought this would be the year that they don't
Frank,
finish above 500.
you can. I gotta stop listening to you because this is twice. This is twice now. I've been convinced you believe in yourself so much. You are so convinced that you are right. It makes at least it made me feel confident in what you were saying because you believed it with such passion. We were sitting in the Gambling Cave here in the office, and even though everyone else in the room called you dumb, stupid, and idiot, they said horrible, horrible things. When you said the Yankees were going to finish below 500 for the first time since 92, you said they wouldn't win 80 games. You were just passionately adamant about that. And what's their record right now?
They're like 20-9, 20-8.
Yeah. I mean, they're already a quarter of the way there.
I mean, I didn't see Nestor Cortez becoming this just like. I mean, thankfully he didn't throw a no-hitter yesterday. Texas got a couple of hits at the end of the game. I mean, how bad is it that the Texas Rangers and the Yankees didn't hit ball well against the Texas Rangers? They had a doubleheader on Sunday. They won the first one, lost the second one. They won the first one 2-1, lost the second one 4-2, and then they won on Monday 1-0. So Yankees are getting good pitching, but their offense hasn't been clicking lately, which is kind of surprising. And what happened was the manager between games of the doubleheader complained about the Yankees walk-off home run by Gleyber Torres, called it a Little League park. But the home run would have been a home run in 26 of 30 stadiums. And then the Texas Rangers won the second game on a home run that went out 301 feet. That would not have been a home run in 30 stadiums. And basically, the Texas Rangers, who spent all this money in the offseason and are just stinking it up again. I mean, looks like Woody Woodpecker's probably going to get fired pretty soon. By the way, Chris Woodward actually played for the Mets. He sucked.
That is a common occurrence, it seems, that players who are bad on the Mets go somewhere else and become good, or players who are good somewhere else come to the Mets and become bad.
Well, Chris Woodward sucks. He doesn't play anymore. He played 20 years ago. He sucked with the
Okay.
Mets. That was pretty much near the end of his career. He had a couple of good years with the Blue Jays, but he is now the manager of the Texas Rangers, and he
Mhm.
looked like a fucking idiot calling Yankee Stadium a Little League baseball stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
And
winning.
winning with a player hitting a home run that barely cleared a
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah, it's a silly argument to have, and if you're not talking just statistics, if you're not talking, if you're not talking about a Yankees player having better statistics, like more home runs than, on average than someone else who didn't play in Yankee Stadium for half the season. If you're making that argument, you can say, yeah, Yankee players are going to have more home runs. However,
Almost every
if you're
stadium
talking
has
about a
this.
team,
They set it up that
every
way.
team has the opportunity to hit a home run in the ballpark they're playing in. So, and if you're not arguing statistics, then that seems like an invalid argument.
I mean, there are certain players that play at stadiums and they actually look better because they take advantage of the stadium that they're in. And one of those guys is Trevor Story,
Hmm.
who has always been uh, like a couple years ago was battling for the lead in home runs in the National League. But if you ever looked at his stats, that he basically hit like 2/3 of his home runs at Coors Field,
Yeah,
and the Texas
higher
and
elevation.
the Boston Red Sox signed him to a big contract, and so far this year he has 0 home runs, and he's been terrible. And people in Boston are like he's getting booed every time he comes up to the plate.
Yeah, it's rough. It's especially when you get a whole city when you have a whole city start booing you. I mean that's tough. That's why I feel bad for Ben Simmons. He's had a whole city against him.
If Ben Simmons had any fucking intestinal fortitude, he would
Frankie had a
use
whole city against him.
that. He's gonna have a second city against him if he doesn't fucking well, no, he won't. He'd have 8 people in Brooklyn.
Yeah, yeah, and even those people are probably indifferent.
Yeah, they don't have. I literally think the Brooklyn Nets. If you found every fan and put every fan in a box for the team, like a pebble in every box for every fan, the Brooklyn Nets probably have the smallest box.
Are you saying Brooklyn Nets out of all the NBA teams had the fewest number of fans?
I think that is safe to say.
Okay, all right. That's you kind of lost me with your analogy about pebbles in a box there, but
Yeah. So
um,
look,
we come together on that.
if the Brooklyn Nets won the NBA championship, there might be a few bandwagon fans that will go out there to celebrate it, but it would be people who go, oh yeah, that's nice. If the New York Knicks won an NBA championship,
The
the
city would
city
burn.
the city will get turned upside down. It would be a party like anything's never been seen in New York before.
Yeah, they were going crazy just for getting to 500 last season.
Congratulations, and I'd love to give him a little ribbon for that.
If they were going crazy for that, I can imagine them winning the.
I mean,
Winning,
the Knicks now have been miserable for 21 years
yeah,
since they went to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2000. They went to the NBA Finals in 1999 as the 8th seed. They went to the Eastern Conference Final as the 7th seed in 2000. Since then, the Knicks have only won one playoff series.
was that last year?
No.
No, they lost to Atlanta, right?
Yep.
In the first round.
Yep. It was like 2012. They went to the second round in 2012, I believe.
Well, it's tough. It's a tough field of teams. Especially when you have teams like the 76ers, who are playing really well right now.
Oh, can't fucking believe it. I mean, James Harden looks like he turned back the clock 5 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's in the 76ers red, Frank. It's a very slimming color.
I mean, this is why the NBA is bullshit. It really is.
Go with it. Tell me why the NBA is bullshit, Frank.
I
Speak your
mean,
truth.
you got these players who literally take games off. They call it load management. So now
Mhm.
30 years ago, Michael Jordan played 82 games. He would play 3 games in 4 days and drop 50 points in the fucking last game just because he was so fucking tired and he didn't want to play games in 4 days, but got fucking pissed off. And the way he took it out was he just tormented the other team. Now you have players when they don't feel like playing, they just sit on the bench and wear fucking like just like the fucking Joker wearing fucking sunglasses, and then they just don't play, and then they don't hustle. They don't. I mean, the Nets got swept. Kevin Durant had a miserable series against the Boston Celtics. He tried to draw a foul call. He didn't get it called, so he's sitting on his fucking ass as as the team goes down to the floor and scores an easy basket, and he gets up, walks, mind you. He walks, mind you, to get back in the offensive zone, and as the pass like popped out of his hand, and the Celtics go down and score another easy basket.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just see too much of this shit in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, we watch hockey. Right now, 6 of the 8 first round series are tied 2-2.
Yeah. And the one that's not tied to is the Avalanche.
Well, no. That one's over, and the Rangers are down 3-1. Because
Yeah.
when the playoffs come around, the real Rangers show up. Dooby dooby doo 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 dooby dooby doo da 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 da. Once in 84 years, that kind of sucks.
Is
You
there
realize
is
that,
there,
don't you? The
that they've won
Rangers
one
have
cup in
won.
84 years? Yeah.
The Rangers have actually it's 82 years, but neither here nor there. It's since the Rangers have won one cup since 1940. And you could
Mm-hmm.
even go back further. The Rangers have won 2 cups since 1933.
Yeah. So 2 cups in like 90 years.
That's bad.
I mean, I guess so. We'll have to see where the Devils are in what 2090.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
If the, here's
they had a
if
good 10-year stretch.
if the Devils still only have 3 titles in 2090, will you no longer root for them?
I can just picture it now. Welcome to the celebrating years. It's your New Jersey Devils. We've not made the playoffs in 70 years, but it's T-shirt time.
It'll happen, Frank.
I
But
hate
then,
that.
by then it'll be New Jersey.
And then the two
It
contenders
could
will
happen,
still be
Frank.
under
I
the same
mean,
heat
it
lamp.
could happen. It could happen, Frank.
Today's draft lottery.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you brought that up. Now, we've talked about before. I don't think the draft lottery matters to Brooklyn that much, does it?
No, there's no. I don't even think they have a pick. And if they
No.
had a pick, there wouldn't be a lot pick.
Yeah. So you've said, I don't have the quote right in front of me, but you can let me know if this paraphrase is accurate. You've said that if the Brooklyn Nets continue to have Steve Nash as the coach, that is proof to you that they are not
Wi-Fi's
concerned.
going.
Yeah, it
Was
goes
that?
in and out. It goes in and out. Pete I don't know what he's
Yeah.
doing, but it sucks. There's literally better Wi-Fi in prisons. than there is this office. Um, so just to rephrase or say it again, uh, and let me know if this is an accurate paraphrase because I don't have the quote in front of me. If Steve Nash is still the coach of the Brooklyn Nets next year, that is proof to you that they do not care about winning. Is that
Yep, and
still
he's the coach.
your belief?
He's the coach. The Nets next year will not even make the playoffs. You heard it here first. Kevin Durant and Kyrie. Kevin Durant's coming back. Kyrie hasn't fully committed yet. Ben Simmons will not play 10 games. The Nets will set a record for most points allowed next year, and they will lose 55 games, and they will have no hope for the future. They can't even blow it up. I mean, it will just be a disaster, and you'll just see Steve Nash clapping and doing his play fucking routine. And did the and probably the fans will care more, all five of us, than the entire fucking
Okay, and
team.
so what you just said at the end there, you said all five of us. You're now saying that you don't think the Nets keeping Steve Nash means they don't care about winning?
Oh no, they don't care about winning.
Okay, so
Nobody on that team gives a flying fuck, including management.
okay, so I just want and let me know if I'm just trying to paraphrase to make sure I understand you correctly. You are going to actively root next season, next basketball season, next NBA season. You are actively putting your time and energy into a team that you believe does not care about winning.
Well,
You are
I
going
don't know
to
what else
you're going to
I don't know
actively
what
root.
else I can do. Then the Knicks are incompetent. I fucking hate everyone else. You know, the problem is this. I don't even know if I'm actually going to care about the NBA. If
Mhm.
I I'm actually now more angry at the league that
Why so?
because I'm just tired of just seeing the teams I hate win in the NBA, and just my team builds a super team and it fucking falls apart.
Well, okay, but you're saying your team, you're tired of seeing other teams win that you don't like and your team that you do like lose. However, the team you like, you admit doesn't care about winning. I'm trying to figure out why you're a fan of the Nets when
They
you say
they
that they
used
don't
to
care
be in
about
New
winning.
Jersey. They used to be in New Jersey. I
Mhm.
actually contemplated becoming a Knicks fan,
Oh,
and
really?
then yep, and then they basically let Jeremy Lin walk after he became their most exciting player for a couple of months. They let him walk.
So this is a Barstool Units exclusive. Frank the Tank is not a New York Knicks fan because they didn't hold on to Jeremy Lin. If Jeremy Lin would have stayed a New York Knick, Frank the Tank would be a New York Knicks fan.
I considered it because I was pissed. I was pissed that they left New Jersey.
Yeah.
I could have the Knicks could have got me because I did not like them moving to Brooklyn.
Hmm.
I didn't go to a Nets game for 10 years.
So what
Well,
pushed you? What pushed you over? What made you say, you know what? They're in Brooklyn, but they're still the Nets. They're still my team.
the Knicks not re-signing Jeremy Lin and just realizing the Knicks are a trash organization.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So Frank the Tank, not a New York Knicks
And
fan
yeah,
because of their treatment of Jeremy.
and, I mean he was the most exciting player for a few weeks. Now I know he wasn't a great player overall. By the way, Jeremy Lin did actually play briefly with the Nets,
Hmm.
but it's just there's just something about the Knicks organization that I just don't like, and a lot of it centers around James Dolan.
Hmm. But you like the Nets an organization that you say doesn't care about winning?
Well, it's why the NBA is my fourth sport of the four major sports.
That's fair. Would you go?
I mean,
Would you go
I mean,
baseball? Would you go baseball, hockey, football?
baseball,
That's
football, hockey.
you would put football before hockey,
Baseball,
even though the
yes.
Devils have given you 3 Stanley Cups and the Dolphins haven't given you anything.
Well, football is football. Hockey is
There,
just something to watch during the winter.
Frank, that
I
is
mean, I mean,
Frank, I appreciate that quote so much. Football is football. Hockey is just something to watch during the winter. I
hockey. When your team's in the playoffs, it gets exciting, and it's been a long time since it's really been that the way for the Devils.
mm-hmm.
But football is the king of all sports. I'm just personally like baseball better than football.
Because of the Mets.
Yeah, I
That's fair.
mean, football is the king of all sports. People,
Yeah.
what do people do on Sundays during football season? It's football. It's football from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. Then you
Mm-hmm.
have the Monday night game. You have Saturday college games, tailgating, and every game is important because the season's so short, and it's the perfect TV sport. Football is the king. It's no doubt about it. It's the king. And
Yep.
it's not like I don't like hockey. I like hockey. I like hockey. Playoff hockey. There's nothing like playoff hockey.
Oh
Especially
yeah.
when the game goes to triple overtime.
Yeah. And well, we've had multiple games go into overtime now, and it's just playoff hockey is a different hockey.
I mean, we've been sitting there. We had one day we were sitting with Paul Bissonnette, and the next time we're sitting with Ryan Whitney, and these guys actually played
Yeah.
playoff hockey.
Yeah. It's
They know
still
what it's
crazy.
like.
It's crazy sitting there watching playoff hockey with them, and then we're sitting with Whitney, and we're watching TNT, so we're watching Paul Bissonnette on the TV. It's wild. I still haven't gotten used to it. Hopefully, I never will. Hopefully, I'll still have this mindset where it's just like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
But but then now let's go back to the NBA. There's been in my lifetime one genuine surprise champion.
Say
The
that one more
favorite
time.
wins almost all the time.
In the NBA,
One genuine surprise champion.
the Bulls.
One team. No. One team was a genuine surprise.
2020
And that was
Lakers.
that was a joke. I'm talking about the 2004 Pistons.
Mhm.
They had no stars. They had a couple good defensive players. They knocked the Nets off on the way to doing it. Nets should have beat them, but the Nets kind of like
They're an organization that doesn't care about winning, so makes sense that
well
they would lose.
the Nets are trying to get to the NBA Finals for the third straight year that year, and they kind of just like ran out of gas in the second round series.
Yeah.
So the Pistons get to the NBA Finals playing a Lakers team that's loaded of superstars: Kobe, Karl Malone, Gary Payton, Shaq, and Kobe and Shaq just had a just basically butted heads that entire series, and the team
Mhm.
disintegrated.
Yeah. It happens. You gotta have all the players on the same team.
That Kobe and that basically it was Shaq was the star of that team. Kobe wanted to be the star of the team. It was basically Robin got tired of being Robin
Hmm.
because he felt that he was better than Batman.
It's a tale as
And
old as time. I'll gladly be Robin with a ring rather than Batman with a no ring.
Kobe did well. In the end, they traded Shaq. He won a ring in Miami, and then Kobe won two more with the Lakers by himself with Pau Gasol.
Yeah. Well,
So ended up
they're an
everyone.
they're an organization that cares about winning.
Well, yeah. That show Winning Time really shows it, like how Jerry Buss came in there and it was like no, we're gonna win. We're gonna.
Yeah.
There was there was one episode where he's setting up a club area and he was
Mhm.
getting pissed off about how the bar didn't close flush. And there he goes, no, this is what people see. We got to go out there and we got to make this perfect for everyone.
Yeah, man. What a time
And then
to
so
have an owner that cared.
then you go to the Prudential Center, you get a raw cheeseburger.
Yeah. Not only a raw cheeseburger, but a team that can't win on the ice. So you're screwed
Well,
both ways.
well, the good thing is that it seems like Steve Cohen could be one of these guys like Jerry Buss.
Yeah. We'll see. You didn't think so last year, but I think you may have come around. Is that accurate?
Well, maybe I was a little impatient last year. Maybe I expected it to change overnight. But in year two, I'm definitely seeing the differences. It's already. I'm already seeing the differences.
Yeah. Must be nice. Must be nice. Well, at least you'll have one team that cares about winning.
Yeah, but I mean, I got one owner that might be good.
Hey, it's one more than I got, Frank. One more than I got. So that's Barstool Units.
One day, you got to do it. I got to see you when the Jaguars do something bad, doing like Captain Kirk. Con!
Believe me, internally, mentally, I have done that many times. But that's Barstool Units episode 60. Frank, please take us out.
Well, I dedicate this to all Red Sox fans. You could use this song. Here's a story of a man named Trevor who could only hit the ball in Coors Field. He had 34 home runs, looked mighty impressive, but now he's playing in Fenway and he totally sucks. The Red Sox are fucked. The Red Sox are fucked. They should not have signed his Coors Field bust.
Click like and subscribe. See you next time.